took my tablet out in the corner.
Right, had to get it out. One time. See? See my people? That's why I can't say that.
Change purses. I did too. But I don't know. Do you happen to have extra paper or a piece of paper? Anyone? Thank you.
Whew. I'm hot.
Because I just
Yes, I'm drinking this hot coffee.
Okay, we're off to a little slow start this morning, but don't worry, they'll come in, they'll trickle in.
Thank you.
Also, keep in mind that we do have a virtual audience. We have a virtual audience, so you do have lots of people watching you. I hear people all through the week saying, "Oh, I watched you on Tuesday morning." So just know that they're here.
Okay.
They are present. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to the Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Morning Forum. I'm Mary Johnson, facilitator, along with our facilitators, Ms. Laura McCletty, right here. Nathalie Miguel Aref is back here. She's our timekeeper. She does a very good job. We have Steve, who keeps the computer and the website going. We also have some who are not here with us today, and that's Ms. Carlenia Ivory Canty, Jackie Walton Edwards, Winston Robinson, and Ms. Aretha Cheryl. I'm going to ask Steve to do our morning, we always begin with a prayer, so I'm going to ask Steve to do that. Thank you.
Please join me in the fourfold Franciscan blessing. May God bless us with discomfort and easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that we may live deep within our hearts. Amen.
Amen.
May God bless us with anger and injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that we may work for justice, freedom, and peace. Amen.
Amen.
May God bless us with tears to shed for those who suffer from pain, rejection, starvation, and war, so that we may reach out our hands to comfort them and to turn their pain into joy. Amen. May God bless us with enough foolishness to believe that we can make a difference in this world, so that we can do what others claim cannot be done. Amen.
Thank you so much. Also, Ms. Carlenia Ivory Canty lost her son-in-law, and he was funeralized on Saturday. He was only 53 years old. So that family is definitely in mourning at this time. So let's keep them in our prayers. Okay, we have life coach Elizabeth Colen right here. Okay, and we also have our decals creator, Ms. Sharon. Okay, so let's begin.
My name is Sharon Jeter, and I am the creator of Identifying Decals, and I shortened it to Identical. And a little background on how this came about. In 2018, of course, we all remember the Keith Lamont Scott thing that happened in Charlotte, and I was sitting there watching TV, and I saw the lady crying. And because her husband had just been shot, he had a TBI, traumatic brain injury. And I remember thinking, Lord, what could I do? What's going on? And I'm what you call an impact. If someone's crying in this room, I'm crying with you. Because I feel what people go through. It comes to me for some reason. And I've always been that child. If the kid's crying, I want to go to them and I want to comfort them. So I thought about this decal. I said, let's see if I could put this decal on cars of people who have a mental or a psychological or medical condition, such as PTSD, which my uncle has. He has my decal on his truck. A young man went through a McDonald's drive-thru and he had a seizure. Of course, when he wrecked his car, the first thing people thought he was drunk or high. And they get to the window, he's foaming at the mouth, so they have to break the window and get the young boy out of the car. Had this decal been on his car, they would have known he had a medical condition. My sister's had a stroke. She kind of drives a little slowly, But if you put this decal on the car, you know, says, well, she has something medically going on. So people would know. In America, I did a little research, you know, 1 in 25 Americans are gonna suffer from some type of anxiety or depression in any given day, and especially since we've come off this COVID thing. And mental illness is so prevalent in our community, we don't want to talk about it. And I've gone to CNPD, I've gone to Charlotte Fire Department, I've had meetings with them, and they love the idea. It's just a simple little decal, simple as the handicap placard. But it's only this big, it's a little small, goes in the back corner of your window and the car, and it lets the police, medics, firefighters, anyone know when they approach that car, if something's going on, someone in this car has something that we need to maybe take a different approach to how we look at what's going on with this person. And that's a little bit about how it came about. I did pretty good 2018 and 19. Of course, COVID came along, shut me out of DMV. I was going into the DMV on the TVs with it, and it shut everything down. So I'm coming back now in 23, trying to get it more regulated so that not just anybody can get it and put it on their car and say, I'm going to act the fool because I have this decal. No, I need for it to be regulated so it goes to people who really actually need it, not someone who's just playing around with, you know, being a fool, I guess you could say. But that's mainly a little bit of how I came about with it. And Ms. Maple has talked to me about it, and we've had meetings, and it's been pretty well welcomed. But right now, I'm just trying to get it regulated and having a hard time with it, but I'm not going to give up. This is my baby, I'm going to raise it. So that's my story.
Share with us how you came to choose to form this. I want them to, listen to us to know that too.
I went to a meeting at the library of the Associate Club and met a young lady there, sitting there in front of me. And I spoke with her, and she listened to, we were talking, and we just started talking about her business, and she listened to it. She said, I need for you to come on the forum. And I said, what's that? Because I had never heard of it. And she explained it to me and got me to the right people. And we went back and forth with it for a while, and then just got scheduled to come on.
And that person was Ellery.
Ellery Aaron, yes.
Sarah Stevenson's sister.
Miss Sarah's sister, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Elizabeth.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
My name is Elizabeth Colen. I am a certified professional life coach. I specialize in wellness. So everything I do, I breathe, I listen, I live wellness. And everybody knows that I am the hippie girl. Like, I talk to the animals, I love things, love the world, right? But the most important thing that I have created, other than my children, is Misfit One Lifestyles. And that is my company. And with that, I create an online course, and it is geared to a lot of entrepreneurs and executives, women, because, we are constantly going and running with the big boys. We have to outsell. We have to make more money. We have to produce more in order to even be at the table. And when we are doing that, a lot of times we are neglecting ourselves. And so my course covers the 12 holistic dimensions of wellness for your professional and personal life, which means it gives you strategies, proven tips, and proven resources that you can use, very small steps, to help you overcome burnout, stress, when you can't sleep. We talk about setting healthy boundaries communicating healthily, and all of the things that our body does normally, moving and eating is what people always think about when they think about wellness, right? That's the two things that pops into their mind. But it's so much more. We are so much deeper. I think of the wellness when we look in the mirror. Think of wellness as an iceberg, right? At the very tip is what you see. And the tip is when you look in the mirror and you see, oh, I've gained weight. I need to lose weight. I'm in this, right? We'll see ourselves, what we see our image of. So that's what we try to fix. But if you go down lower, inside of that, going down below the water, deeper in the water, deeper in the water, you're so deep, the levels are so deep that the tip is really the least important part. What you want to focus on is the wider base of that. And in order to do that, we have to slow down and replenish our body. And I like to think of it as a car, right? Whenever you have to get gas for your car, you have to stop, turn off the ignition, and get gas, right? Are you with me? Because I don't know if any cars yet that can get gas on side the freeway while they still going a gas truck passes with them, right? So at that moment, we as humans, this is our machine. And we have to stop and replenish it. And a lot of times, as mothers, executives, entrepreneurs, and all that, we don't have time for that. So what we do today, we see 5 years from now. So when you look in the mirror today, I just want you to think back, what were you doing 5 years from now? Because it represents on your skin, your health, your hair, on your stamina, your energy. And when I want you to really focus on replenishing your body. And that's exactly what I do. I have an online course that is 3 months. It's creating healthy habits so that you can perform your best in personal and professional. Because a lot of times at work, we're burnt out. We're exhausted. We just don't know what to do. And a lot of times we don't even recognize the red flags. So that's one way that I work with people on a level without the corporation. Other ways, I work going into the corporations or virtual, doing sessions for about 2 hours, and we go deep about what the issues are, why are they having problems in their environment at work, why are they not producing what they have to produce, why are they not meeting their quota, and all of this. And we go in and see, are you getting enough sleep? Let me ask y'all, everybody in here, are we getting enough sleep? We getting enough sleep? Good. Are you taking time out for you, that self-care? It's important. It's important. And what I want everybody to realize that if you do not love yourself, no one will love you either. I hate to say it, but the love comes from within, and that's basically what I teach people is creating healthy habits so that they can live a long life full of energy and have the passion and live the desires that they have always wanted instead of complying to what others want from them. So again, I'm Elizabeth Colen. My company is Misbuilt One Lifestyles. I create journals, wellness planners so that you can do it on your own. And I would love to connect with each one of you. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you, both of you. Okay. Michelle.
I don't necessarily suggest this, but do you see a connection between what you're doing and what you're doing? Okay.
I'll let you
Oh, okay. Do you see a connection between what each of you is doing and how they have to be together?
That's a very good question. Actually, her business is life-changing, like mine, but hers is for the police. Her identical should be issued from a hospital or a psychologist or administration so that the police can recognize that something is wrong from it. I mean, I wish I had a identical to say, hey, take time for yourself. But our business are life-saving, but hers is more on the level of where the police can look at your car and say, oh, this person may be going a little crazy because they have some kind of medical issue. Did that answer your question?
Yes,
What would you
I wanted to even go deeper in terms of psychiatric history and
Well, I think on the human side, we both were talking about, helping another human live a better life. Hers is life-changing, mine is life-saving. I seek to save someone from being misunderstood. You know, I want to help someone make it home instead of something happening. We hear the paralyzed guy. He said, I can't walk. They pulled him through the car by his hair on the ground. The man couldn't walk. That decal would have let them know, well, maybe he actually is telling the truth. He can't walk.
we hope.
Right.
Right.
We hope. And that's my hope in creating this decal, is to save somebody from the deaf guy right here in Charlotte. He saw the sirens. He didn't hear them. He gets out of the car, they shoot him. That happened right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I can go on and on and on with all of these situations where these things, and people have been misunderstood. Mental health. So many people, police answer the call, this person is mentally ill. Handle it a different way. But this decal, my son, he's not my son, but I call him my son, has it on his door of his house. He has a brain injury. But he wants people to know that there's something going on with him if they see him acting erratically. So both the human side of it is connects, yes, it does.
Good morning, Juanita Miller. You pretty much touched on it when you spoke of law enforcement. I think that decal can save a lot of lives. So I wanted to know exactly where are you in the process of this getting approved, not only here locally, but throughout the United States. I know we can start with our own governor. Are you there yet?
No, ma'am, I'm not. I'm getting so much pushback from this. Ms. Mayfield actually was the only one in City Council who took the time to actually sit down and call in the chief of the fire department, the police department, and a couple other people to sit and talk with me. I've gone down there and I've spoken to people. I've gone to DOT. I've gone to, oh my God, I'm certified in 5 different places, and I'm just not.
Certified by who, if I may ask?
I am Hub certified, I am Minority Business certified, I'm 8A certified. I've had all these certifications, and I'm not working with the Charlotte Business Inclusion Office. I'm just getting, stop, hold it right there. Yeah, it's a nice idea, but we're just gonna pass on that. But I'm not giving up. It's my baby, as I said, and I'm gonna raise it till it comes to full fruition. Not only in the United States, the world.
So you need a lot of support.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am, I do. Yes, ma'am, I do. And thank you for that question.
Okay, Karen.
So the sticker can be used for any various different, you said deafness or paralyzation or traumatic brain injury. And that's my first question is how would maybe a law enforcement officer or someone use it? And my second question is, what can we do to help get this going?
I have one for PTSD, and then I have one for mental, and then I have one for medical. And I spoke with Lieutenant Reith at the CMPD, and I would take the sticker to the recruits and they would put it in their training so that they would know what it was. Because it's not going to help anyone. No one knows what it is. So the chief of fire department told me, bring the information to us and we'll use it. And medics, and I will let everyone know, what this sticker is, because they have to recognize it when they see it. I now want to get into the Department of Transportation, the American Disabilities Association, the Veterans Administration, the hospitals. I've gone to the procurement department of the hospital, CMC. Never got a call back. Never get anyone to talk to me. Can't get anyone to talk to me. If I can get into the people that run these procurement departments and run the supplier diversity departments, then I can speak to them and say, hey, let's get this decal. When a person is discharged from the hospital, if they want this decal to go in their car, they can take it then. Then it's regulated. Not just anybody can get it. So I want to get to the people that can get it in there and get it out to the Veterans Administration.
There was a second part to her question. That second part was how can we help? How can the community help?
Well, I would say that if I can speak to people and get more people to talk about it, more people to recognize what it is, and
y'all introduce her to people if you know of people that can help move it on.
yes. Getting into to speak to people, because it's hard. I can call all day and leave messages, but if I don't get a call back, I can't just show up at the hospital and say, hey, can I speak to the head of who's in here and I'm going to talk. That's not working like that. I try to go online and fill out the the proper forms and things, and I just don't get a call back ever.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm not sure who invited you to Tuesday Morning Forum, if it was Mary, if it was Laura, but thank you. And then I want to help you answer your question. I hear so often from people who look like you and who look like me that we have to go outside of this community to have opportunities. And that should not be. Please do not give up. And I know it's hard, but the only way that we're going to change this is to elect people like her. You said she was the only one that called you back. I have a testimony, and I'm going to say it loud and clear. If she needs me to go anywhere in this city, I will get up out of my bed and drag myself. Because this woman will stand up for you. So we keep electing the same people over and over and over again. And the question is, what do they give back to us in this community? Or are they afraid of losing their jobs or whatever? It's time. Because in the environment that we're in today, it's sad. I want you to know that, I don't know, and I've talked to Ms. Laura about this, it's time for us, we gotta do better in supporting each other. So we need to put you on the list of doing that. I don't wanna hear that, they came and they went. No, ma'am, do not give up. But we've got to vote, and we've got to let people like her, and we've got to be there to tell other people.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much
Amen.
for that.
I hope Deborah got that down.
Yes, ma'am.
I did not have her.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do.
We have, Laura, right here.
Okay, my question, I have a question for both of you. Elizabeth, when Sharon shared with me that you were coming, she said that because you are into wellness, you have a story too about yourself, and I don't think you dug deep into it about your story. And I'd like for you to share that. But Sharon, the question I have for you is, do you have the patent on this right now? Have you already set that up? And do you have a marketing plan in place? And I'm very strong with encouraging people who have ideas or want to start businesses to have a plan in place. You have to have a plan, and I'm very, very, very strong in recommending, if you plan anything and you work your plan, it will happen. You can have an idea and you can share it, but taking the proper steps to make things happen. We have some of those that just come out and they just roll things out and it just happen. I mean, like Beyonce can sing, and like the guy the black guy that did the traffic light, it was something that he worked on, and those things have been hidden. What you have right here is something that should not be hidden. A plan needs to be in place. We need to be living at a time where we can say, I knew her, and I remember when she came to Tuesday Morning Forum, and now she's all over the world, with this. So the plan to keep it under wraps and to focus on it and to make sure that you have the right marketing plan or the plan in place to implement this and get this out so nobody else will just grab it. Like the thread and Elon Musk, and they going back and forth with Twitter and the thread. This is the first. I haven't heard of anything like this, but do you have that plan?
I worked with Mark Stewart at the Charlotte Business Inclusion Office, and we did my patent application. They kicked it back out. And okay, I worked with Mark Stewart at the Charlotte Business Inclusion Office, and we did my patent application. They kicked it back out, and once they kick that out, they don't give you that $450 back. You have to come back and do it again. So I'm having to connect with Mark again to try to get it done. I connected with Dr. Keem McCrae. He's a patent attorney. Kind of pushed me aside and said, oh yeah, I'll get to you when I can, because I didn't have the $12,000 to pay for the patent. They're not cheap. And $12,000 he wanted to charge me to do a patent. But I was trying to do it on my own for the $450. I lost $450. I got to go back and do it again. I don't want to go back and do it again and make a mistake and lose another $450. I've applied for grant after grant after grant after grant. All this money they talk about for entrepreneurs and black women in business. This has been since 2018. I haven't seen a dime of it. Working on that patent, that copyright, that trademark, whichever one I have to get, or all three, I'll get it. But I'm getting pushed back on that also.
Okay, Luana.
He wants to take.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There was
You're after.
I was just listening.
Oh, okay.
Well, my story, thanks for asking. The reason I am so passionate about wellness is because I was the poster child for stress, burnout, and I weighed in at a whopping 257 pounds. I was a size 24, and I was just very successful. Like money, I made money. But I was so unhealthy, it was unreal. And it wasn't as though I wasn't working out, because that almost 300 pound girl went to the gym every morning. Every morning at 4:30, I would go to the gym. But you know, there's the saying that you can't outrun your diet. And you cannot outrun your stress. So when I had to go in, and the aha moment for me, it should have been, like literally, it should have been that my feet were hurting, and that I was on high blood pressure pills, and that I was throwing up, you know, every time I ate, because I ate at Church's Fried Chicken every day. Every day. That was my lunch, Church's Fried Chicken. And I was starting to get sick. Like every time I would eat, I would have heartburn so bad, and I would be just like, I don't understand. Must have been a bad batch. Try tomorrow. Not the brightest. But I finally had to go to the doctor, and I had to have my gallbladder removed. My gallbladder was so full of gallstones that it was misshapen. And if you guys don't know that the gallbladder is basically the trash can of your body, which means at the age of 32, 30 something, I had already ate so much bad food that my trash can was overflowed. So they removed it, and they said it was no big deal, you can live without it. But, you know, I don't think God gave us bare hearts. Like, I was just like, I don't think he just gave that to me, just in case. So I did research on it my own, and I was like, wow, this has to be a life-changing event. We go in for this surgery. I was too heavy to be weighed on a regular scale, so they had to put me on a cattle scale. You know them big cattle scales? The big flat ones? And when you stand on there, that big old number pop up. 257.
It's an echo.
257. And I'm 5'3", and which everybody in there, the doctors, the nurses, got quiet. So me being me, I said, I'm gonna lose 100 pounds just to try to lighten up, because everybody was like, they didn't know what to say, you know? And they all kind of chuckled and ha ha ha. But that must have resonated within my soul, because when you get your gallbladder removed, anyway, you have to change your diet. So I took it as how people go to rehab. Yeah, it was epiphany, but I had to go for 3 months. I didn't see anybody. I changed my life. I cried. At the time, my ex-husband didn't care about losing weight. No, I ain't eating what you eating. I'm not doing this. I had to go to therapy. I was so bad off that my life had to just change. Because remember, I was working out. So working out wasn't the issue. It was my mindset and the things that was going on. So I truly believe that health is just not what you put in your mouth or not how you work out, but it is your environment, who you surround yourself with, the music you listen to, the TV that you watch. The environment plays such an impact on you. And once I had to go to therapy for a long time, guys, like this is why I teach this. I went to school to be a nutritionist, I was a personal trainer. I did all of those things. And I was known as the sculptor in California. I was a personal trainer for many celebrities and got them amazing. But once they done, what happened? They went back to what they usually do and gained all the weight back. I said, all right, I'll be a nutritionist. I moved here, went back to school, got my degree, did that, and again, people lose weight when they follow that menu. But then when they were done with that, they gained the weight back. So then I said, what was different for me? Because I lost over 117 pounds, went from a size 24 to the size I am now, 00, and I have maintained that for over 16 years. So I had to see what was different for me. And it was my mindset. It was the healthy habits that I had to learn to cope with stress. Because I don't care where you are, we're gonna have stress in our life. That's normal. We can't avoid it. But how we handle it is important. So that is why I dig deep. We talk about ways to cope with stress, what's our triggers, what is making us react the way we do. A lot of times it's even our cultural environment. And we talked about that before. And I'm going to use the example of fried chicken. When we was growing up, every Sunday we had what we called, them Sunday meals. Fried chicken, ham, hocks, the works, mac and cheese, everything. Yeah. Now, in order for you to say, hey, I don't want fried chicken anymore, because it's not good for me, now you're talking about my mama. Oh, you saying my mama didn't know? Now you saying my mama or my grandma didn't know? Or my big mama didn't know? Now you gotta take on a whole cultural thing. Do you have the tools to do that? Because that's not easy to sit at a table with all your family going, so you really not gonna eat Big Mama? You ain't eating her fried chicken? It's only one day. But if I had, and I'm a food addict, right? But if I was addicted to alcohol, they wouldn't say, girl, you know it's Big Mama wine. Just have one sip of Big Mama wine, would you? So we have to think of it as food can be as addictive as crack, but it's things that we don't recognize because everybody eats. So we look at what triggers us. I don't eat a whole pizza because I was hungry. Nobody eat a whole bucket of chicken because they're hungry. Right? You ain't hungry that bad. Something going on. You're trying to feed the demons inside. You're trying to distract or please or soothe whatever is ailing you. Because food never let me down. It always made me happy, So that is why I became a life coach and went in, and I have learned to have that body-mind connection, the wellness inventory. I know that it's 12 dimensions of our health, of our wellness, that we don't even talk about, but our body is doing it every day. Every day. So thank you for asking about my story, because it was not pretty. It was one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life, because you feel alone. Thank you.
Thank you, that was powerful. It made me think about the fact that we grew up in a
environment of clean your plate. Eat everything on your plate.
Everything on your plate.
Because I think maybe it's a cultural thing that we think that, that if you're full and if you have enough food, then you're okay.
You're happy.
You're happy.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that you're well fed, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, it kind of equates with I'm a good parent or I'm a good person, I can feed you.
And you're right, because a lot of times we didn't have the money to do the stuff, but we always had food. So that was what they showed our love. And girl, eat it up, eat it up. And all of our intentions were well, but was it good for us? I mean, our kids are dying higher rates than we did. The obesity rate is much higher. It's normal. What the average size of a woman now is 16. And that's the average size in America. You were absolutely right.
I know you were late, Mr. Coons.
I just want y'all to get this so I can go eat.
Me too. Me too, boy. Me too. Food is not the enemy.
There we go.
And fried chicken and ham hocks.
also the deserts in our neighborhood.
Yeah, that's another thing. Too.
Yes.
We have food deserts.
Absolutely.
And one thing that people do in a food desert situation, food deserts are full of fast food places. You got Popeyes, you got Bojangles, you got all of those. Look at Sunset. All around there.
10, 15 of them in a row.
In a row. And so people do go there. I'm hungry. Let me go there instead of going to like Chopped or something. One of the Kava
Or cook.
or Cook.
How about that?
Cook.
That's, we forgot, that even when we go out, because they say it's faster, we still have to wait for them to prepare it. So somebody has to prepare it. It's no faster than you turning on your thing. So I prep everything by when I say prep, I cut up all my veggies, cut up all my fruit and all the stuff. And then when I'm ready to eat, I say, ooh, I want some grilled this. I take this out, and it's easier for me to cook. That's exactly what restaurants do, by the way. They have somebody come in the morning and prepare all their stuff, the ingredients, and then they cook it. But everything convenient is not good. It really, I recently married, we've been together now 10 years, and he was a total bachelor. Everything that he had in his food was already pre-prepped, pre-frozen, pre-everything. And it was like, are you crazy? Like, read it. Just read what it is. Just cooking your own food is so good. And it saves your life. It saves you money. And it can even help you with your stress, because we tend to value what we put in our mouth when we prepare it versus when we go and buy it, we just shove it, right? But usually when we take time to cut up our stuff and let me put a little more salt in there and a little bit of this and that, and I grow my own garden in the back, my herbs, the things that we put in there we love, because we know we put this in our hand, and generally we savor it and take time to enjoy it.
Okay, Karen.
Can you talk a little bit about the process? Like what you do when you start working with someone?
Oh, absolutely. That's a great question, Carrie. What I do is, when you are a part of the group, you get an assessment. So this assessment is like 120 questions, and I think that it should be at all physicals. When you go in for a physical at your medical, I think that this should be a part of it, because they ask you questions about what do you do in the morning? What are your routines? And, your mindset, do you meditate, blah, blah, blah. And it asks you so many different ways that it catches you, right? So it comes with your strengths and your weaknesses. So what we do is look at your strengths and say you're a great communicator or you're a very responsible person, right? And one of the wellness wills is self-responsibility and self-leadership. A lot of times we are all responsible because we are well at our job. We show up for our job, we do our work, we show up for our kids, we show up for our friends, we show up for this. So we show on our things like, yeah, we are very responsible. That's a great strength. But one of our weaknesses is eating or moving, communicating. So we're sleeping, and we'll look at that. So just like when you go to get your car diagnosed, get a diagnostic reading. These are the things that we need to look at. What do you want to work with first? And that's how we start. We kind of go through your wellness. I wish I could show you, but it's a wheel that shows you. And it shows your strengths and your weaknesses. And once we go through that, then we talk about what do you want to focus on? Because I believe it's a fit formula. It's focus plus intention equals transformation. So we focus on the area you want. We talk about it together. You come up with it because I believe that all of us are resourceful, whole, and creative on their own. We all have the answers within. It's just the fact that a lot of times we don't trust ourselves. We failed at this so many times that it can't be right. Or we go to something extreme. And what we start off was doing extremely little bitty steps. I want you to make such small, ridiculous steps that goals that you laugh at it, right? Because when you do small things, it can change your whole world. And I'll give you an example. 2 ships start off at the same time. Every day they leave the same port, but every morning one captain just taps the wheel. The next morning he taps the wheel. Do you know that they will end up in 2 totally different locations? And it wasn't a big fuss. He didn't have to he didn't have to do all that. It's just a little recalibrating each day. Maybe adding things. I'm always for adding. I'm not about taking away. Adding more water, adding fruits and vegetables to a breakfast, adding something. Little bitty changes adds up to great, great transformations. And I think that's another thing about America is that we go on all these fad diets. Instagram is so full of fad teas or waist trainer, or if you do this, it's nothing, nothing that you can buy that can change your mindset for the rest of your life. That's why my company is Misfit One's Lifestyle, because living fit is a lifestyle, not a fad. So we work with you, we focus on what you want to work with, and then we move into action. Does that answer your question?
Gary.
I'll project. Thank you. And I apologize if this is redundant, but does your company take insurance?
That's a good question. It does not, but it used to. When I moved here from California, and I used to do FAS, and I need to find a way to get back into that. If anybody here could help me with that, would be great. Where my company can take the federal allowance benefits that companies give to employees.
Good, but not individuals.
No,
I want to,
but I want to know how to do that, Gary.
I want to ask you a question. Have you approached companies about coming in and doing fitness things with them?
Yeah, I do. I do approach companies, but I don't do fitness anymore because I know I can teach you how to do whatever exercise. We can go through whatever meal plan. Now I work on your mindset.
Have you approached
And
companies?
I have been. This is the newest thing this year. My goal is to be more active in corporations. So that would be a great help if you guys would know of any corporation that could give me a contact that I can send them a proposal, have a conversation. But again, with corporations, I would love to go in and do a virtual or in-person session about stress, burnout, time management, helpful and tools to create a personal and professional quality of life.
Okay, my question is for Sharon. Sharon, I know I've seen this on TV for inventions. Have you seen that? Have you contacted them as well? I want to get this thing out here.
Me too.
No, ma'am, I haven't, because a lot of them are scams sometimes, and they'll take your money and won't do anything for you. I'm more local now when I get my hands on that person and walk in their office or talk to them instead of somebody being in California and I'm here. Because I've tried before and they just took my money and didn't produce anything out of it. And I've even sent it to Shark Tank. I've even sent it to them.
Think about Sharon.
Yeah, and I understand that Muggsy Bogues now also has a mental health association that he has going here, and I wanted to try to contact, get in touch with him, his group, his people, and see if I could talk with them about the mental health part of it.
Right. They can't hear you.
Can you, how about, is that better?
Okay. Michelle.
And you asked me about marketing also.
Yes.
Once again, I graduated from the Women's Business Institute at UNC Charlotte, and they were supposed to help me with marketing plan, and I did not get that.
If they know anybody, come on.
I think Michelle was next.
Michelle was next. Yeah, Michelle.
Michelle, and then Carlenia and Ken.
When you identify stressors and then the addictions that follow, we have one is food, another one is alcohol. Do you have any others that you would identify as addictions?
Oh, that's a really interesting question because there's tons of addictions. You could be addicted to cocaine. You could be addicted to crack, porn, sex, shopping. I mean, we don't know. It's so many things that we do. Addicted to Starbucks, right? A lot of people go there every day. Right, archive, there you go, right? So we have tons of addictions, and that's what it's about. It's a lot of things that we do every day that we kind of on autopilot.
Okay.
Anorexia in that column.
Anorexia? Yeah. That's a mental health disease, absolutely.
Carlenia and then Ken.
Okay, I appreciate and I know you're both trying to do something great for this community. Continue to hear your questions, Laura. My advice, and we're friends in here.
Yes, please.
Stop saying, well, I went, they didn't do nothing. They went, you tapped her.
I did.
Right. Stop. We gotta start helping ourselves and depending on us too.
Yes.
It's too much of I went and this didn't happen, I went and this didn't happen. We need to strategize and make it happen.
Yes.
Thank you, Laura, for being persistent, because she wants you to be successful.
Yes.
But if you keep going places and, well, it's not gonna happen. Now, that's momly advice, auntie advice, or whatever, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, and I heard you, and I take that advice.
We can't.
Yes. Put these one up here. Here, it's over. Yes.
It amazes me sometimes when I hear of people who say they're in business, but they're not affiliated with nor operate as salespeople and don't affiliate and get themselves involved with business organizations. So to that point, are either of you members of the Chamber of Commerce?
I am not.
I have not become a member here, but I was in California.
That's another thing. Y'all need to stop saying where you were, and you need to get involved here.
That's.
Carrie's next.
Have you reached out to NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, about your sticker?
No, ma'am. I
Write that down.
have not, but I definitely would like to.
Yes, I have a friend who's head of the board here in Charlotte. So.
Okay, Blanche. Dr. Penny. And then Gary. Blanche and then Gary.
Thank you. Well, let me just share this with you, because I've been in business about 30, 40 years, and basically, most of my funding came from individuals. But the best thing of my business is when I first came to the Tuesday morning forum. And so you're in the right place at the right time, because these are some of the hard knocks. We'll ask those tough questions and then get you moving in the right direction. So you need to apply yourself of being in the room with some of these leaders in here. So, but I heard you were, and I hate I missed that part about inventions that you were doing or whatever. And I'm not sure what that business is, because as I do a lot of inventions, sharing with young people about Black folks inventing a lot of things to even make our life so much better today. And you'd be surprised of all the inventions that's out here, but it's just a matter of us really, because I agree with the patent and things of that nature, because I even patent my books sometimes. So it just depends on how you're going to go about those things, and definitely you want to try to reach out to some of the right contacts.
Thank you for
But
that.
tell me your business real quick.
Yeah.
I apologize.
And first of all, I think you're absolutely beautiful. I came up with an idea to place a decal on vehicles for mental and medical conditions. And my uncle, he has PTSD, so I came up with this idea to put this decal on his truck so that he, wouldn't be thought of as crazy or drunk or high. He sometimes has episodes. And I went to the police department, I went to the fire department, and Ms. Mayfield here had a session with me, and we talked about getting this thing regulated. In 2018 and 19, I sold them. And of course, COVID hit, knocked me underwater. I was going in DMV on the TVs. DMV shut me down. Came back in 23, I said I have to regulate this now because I don't want Pookie getting 20 of these, buying them on the corner and selling them to his friends. I want to regulate it to where if the medics pull up on a car and they've wrecked, that they'll know this person had a heart condition maybe, or a medical condition, and they weren't high or drunk. So that's a little bit of how it started out.
Let me apologize. This is on Facebook, so my thing is recording thing. So,
I'm so sorry.
yeah, because we're talking about patents and things like that. I know Steve is recording this, and so that's a problem for me, because like you say, your idea could be your idea, but in a few minutes it could be somebody else's, and all they're gonna do is change it. So just be careful how you share your information.
And there's a problem too of getting it out there, and knowing who to share it with and who not to. I've talked to so many people. Like I said, I went to city council and but I know I have to be careful of it.
Thank you.
Okay, Gary and then Ken. Yes, ma'am.
A little earlier, you alluded to the fact that you would like to work with corporations in providing your services.
Yes.
With that, what's the largest size organization you work with, and do you currently have any minority or women business enterprise certification?
Good question. I would like to work with real estate companies. I would like to work with banks. I am not currently working with any large corporation as of yet. I am in negotiations with 2 health companies. We meet again in August. I am looking to connect with I work personally with a lot of entrepreneurs and executives during my course. So, but I have not went inside of a large corporation yet. And that is my next move because, it could save companies a lot of money in insurance. And the company, if your employees have better energy, more clarity, they can focus, they can also, it improves the working environment because, people get upset and burned out, and it's not always a good working environment. And so it helps in so many ways to work in a corporation, and that is what I'm looking for. I'm looking to move my company more into that direction.
Okay, Ken.
Oh, my certifications? Not with minority and women business, but I am certified up the yin yang on everything that I teach. Yes. Oh, it's Game Changers? The Game Changers is a minority thing? I didn't think so.
No.
You've come to this public forum, which is online, and you mentioned about presenting and what your concept is and so forth. When you talk to people, have you had anybody to sign these non-disclosure agreements?
I have.
And
NDAs, I have one. I sure have.
and you gave your idea out right here in this public forum.
I did because I wanted to come into this. Miss Lady said you got to come into it, and I wanted to come here and meet some people and get myself out there. What they say, a closed mouth don't get fed, so I have to talk to someone somewhere.
Okay.
And
Okay. Oh, are you finished now? Okay. Oh, I was next, I'm sorry. I had a couple of things. Miss Jeter, when you went to the police and the fire and you met with these people, even though, did they give you any advice of how you could move this through? Did they tell you that instead of just saying no or whatever, did they tell you how to make it happen?
they did not. They always gave me a contact person to speak with, and I would always call and try to get in there and speak with that person, but I would never get a call back.
Okay, the next thing is that the school system, the CMS school system, has like a wellness program for its employees, sort of.
Oh.
But they will like refer you if you need a nutritionist or you need a whatever. I forgot the name of that department, but they keep sending me emails about it. And it's like employee assistance kind of thing.
Right.
And so if you could get on there, I don't know how you would do it, I don't know the process, but if you could get listed with them as a possibility, you know, that if someone wanted to contact you about that, you know. I don't know the process, I'm just saying that they have it, and I'm sure that other companies have it also.
You go online and it's called an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. If it's paid, you become a vendor. You go online and there's two ways. If it's like grant money and you're not charging, it's called Memorandum of Understanding, an MOU. There's a form.
Okay.
If you are asking for money, it's a vendor. and you can go online and complete it, and you have to be approved. But that's the start.
Thank you very much.
Luana?
So a follow-up to what Ms. Ivory just said, you have to be certified. In North Carolina, in Mecklenburg County, you need to be a certified business. That goes back to the question that Gary was asking earlier. In order to work with CMS, to work with Mecklenburg County, to work with the city of Charlotte, you must be certified. We're gonna have a separate conversation because without that patent, it is gonna be difficult for you to get anything, and you're gonna mess around and someone's gonna be already doing it because they already went and got the patent on it and they got the trademark on it. And once they have the trademark, there's nothing you can do beyond that point. So that'll be a separate conversation we'll have later. As far as the certifications, there is a process. You can go to the CMS website. You can go to MECNC for Mecklenburg County, Mecklenburg, North Carolina, MECNC for North Carolina.gov for government, or CharlotteNC.gov for government. Both have everything that you need to learn about becoming certified, because here, in order for you to get in to do some of these things for government, you need to be certified. As far as hospitals and other things, that's something possibly with the North Carolina General Assembly, because they have to do their background checks. Right. There's a lot of certification that goes along with it in order to get into the system, but as a minority-owned business, we have certain requirements that do not take long at all to achieve certification, but you must be certified through the systems.
Thank you.
Okay, I had one more thing that I was gonna say, and that is because I know you mentioned, I think, Carrie, you might have mentioned anorexia or Michelle. Yeah, I was just gonna say that, because I worked with a lot of children who had that, I'm not sure if you would be the one to be able to do anything with that, because that's a psychological, medical situation, and I would hate to see a parent, go that route when that can be a very serious illness.
That is definitely true.
And I want to ask Luana and Gary too, from what I understand, the certifications start at the state level. Am I correct, Luana? That you don't have, well, my experience has been that they want you to be certified at the state level, and then you can go through the local level. But that's what my understanding is. So, and it's nothing wrong with getting certified at the state level, and it's not a cost associated with that, but it's just a matter of your completing the entire process. And it's a lot that can be done. But Luana and Gary, help me with this. Don't you have to start at the state level?
Yes, for different levels. Corporate level, definitely state. It's best to go ahead and get the state, but also locally. If you're only looking to do local, there is through the county as well as the city certification. But again, do not pay anyone to complete that form. We have through the city as well as the county for the certification process. There are people that will walk you through it and help you get that completed. There's no cost to that, but you are absolutely correct. The state level will, even through our Charlotte Business Inclusion Program, through the CBI program, there are staff that will help you complete the application for the state certification as well as local.
I would just simply add, she's spot on. You're doing business with the city and the county. They have their own cert you can use. But what the state cert does, as she alluded to, that gives you the minority business certification, which in that case allows you to work with the private sector. So that's what I do. I work with minority and women business enterprises in corporate America. I used to run Bank of America's minority business referral system. Mm-hmm. So if you have that MBE, I would then be able to introduce you to the procurement pipeline at a company like a BLA or the company I'm at now.
Okay, dear, because don't forget my MBE.
Okay. It sounds like you have your contacts right here in this room to get you started. Ken and then Carlenia.
I guess this question also goes to Gary and to Luana in regards to certification if you are a minority and you're seeking to do business with the state or local governments. Is it a requirement that you have minority certification, or can you just simply go into whatever area that you're in as a straight up business person? Because if you're not reading the tea leaves on what's happening across the country, the Supreme Court should have given you some idea of what's to come. So my question is it a requirement now as a minority, if you want to do business with local and state governments, do you have to certify? Because I was in business for over 22 years and they signed up to be a minority enterprise, but nothing and did very well because I had a superior product.
Right, I love that.
How you know it was superior?
Because he got paid.
You got paid. Carlenia is.
He asked a question of Gary and myself.
Oh, that's
okay.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say kind of response, but,
Okay, but be brief, because he's not supposed to ask questions to people in the audience. But
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm just.
just straightforward to answer your question, man. No, you do not necessarily need an MBE certification to do business with the city of Charlotte or the county, or Mecklenburg County. That's why if you go straight to the city or the county, they can get you certified with them. But if you want to do business as a minority company privately in other public sectors, you do need that MBE cert.
Which is right. So what's can I say something to that effect? Is that my business honestly is normally not minority. They do not pay for this woo-woo stuff. They don't care. The most of my businesses are, and people that I work with are Caucasians. I very, very, very rarely have minority people in my company. I'm always hired by Caucasian because I don't know why, but they see more value in what I am talking about and willing to pay, whereas as our cultural thing, it's like, well, you know, I'm gonna do this fad that I saw, and I saw this doctor on YouTube, and they told me that I don't have to eat carbs for, so I am glad, I would love to, because when I first started doing this, I've been doing this over 20 years. When I first started it, I only wanted my black people. I only wanted minorities. I'm gonna get us healthy. We need to learn how to do this. And they was like, no ma'am. No ma'am. And talk about it, that's right. And it was like me talking to a brick wall. And if I did stuff for free, oh yeah, they would do that. But it wasn't about now, and I have raised my kids and traveled the world doing what I have done, and it has only been by Caucasians. Not if I had to be based on minority black business, I would not be in business. I would not be able to be sitting here today. But I would love to. I want to help everyone, but just everyone is not as receptive to what I have, because I don't have a fad or something fast. I don't, it's just, you have to work on it.
Okay, Carlenia is gonna be our last question, because we are running out of time.
Mm-hmm. That statement that you just made is so sad, but
It is.
so true. Don't wait on us. But I think that was not what I was going to originally say, but
Okay.
it's the truth, baby. You don't wait on us. It's unfortunate. Unless it's free.
Exactly.
Okay. What I was going to say is if you're not certified, while you work on your certification, it is okay if you need someone who is already approved to discuss with them and become a partner with them to provide a service. Now, they'll have to advertise it, and the parents will need to know and all of that. But you can be working in collaboration with someone who is already certified to provide the service. And that's just not with CMS, that's probably with other organizations, community organizations.
Can I?
Oh, go ahead.
Can I say something real quick about the patent situation that I had? I have sent a patent application in. I don't know if it's considered, my thing is considered patent pending or not, but I'm supposed to correct what was done wrong and send it back. But having a paralegal background, I also, in 2018, wrote down everything that I did, mailed it to myself, post-dated and stamped. Poor man's patent. I came back in 23, I did it again. I also have a lockbox that I have at the bank that have all this information and all these things that I've gone through. I put it in that lockbox and I left it there along with what I call my poor man's patent. Some say it'll hold up in court, some say it will not, but I'm willing to take that chance. When someone takes my idea, no. I've had this since 2018, and that's gonna be a battle. I'll tell you right now. It's not gonna go down easy.
I have a question. I have a question about this certification, when y'all talk about certification. Certification to be a minority owned, that's what the okay, because I'm like, I'm certified to do everything. It's just about got you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's about the doing it in North Carolina anyhow. Okay. Thank you all so much for being, let's give them a hand for being here today. And I really hope that this is the beginning of something good that's gonna happen.
This was great.
With both of you. I think you got a good thing going, and let's hope that we can get it out there. And I also want to thank our honorary facilitator, Councilwoman Lawana Mayfield, who was up for re-election this year, so keep that in mind. Yes, I'm advertising, I'm sorry. But we wish her all the success. Carlenia left, okay. Okay, thank you so much. And be sure and come back.
Thank you.
And we want to hear the progress that you've made, okay?
Well, thank you so much for having us, and I appreciate all the feedback that we got today. It was very, very helpful and very interesting.
And you've got some people in this room that can help you, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, she also has a book. Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
we have announcements.
When you held that up, I thought you were talking about her book. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Announcements.
Wait a minute, because we gotta get Steve to get it.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Wanda's still on duty.
So, this book, Teaching for Justice and Belonging, is written by, co-authored by Tia Starker Glass, Dr. Tia Starker Glass, who is Associate Professor of Educational Psychology and Elementary Education. She is the co-founder of the Anti-Racism Graduate Certificate Program at UNC Charlotte, and educational advisor and educational contributor with Brownicity. And she will be facilitating 3 sessions discussing this topic. And I know some of you were teachers and educators, so maybe you can spread the word. The first session is actually tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I sent the information to Steve at Holy Comforter Church on Park Road. So I think it's going to be a really good session.
I interviewed her for my podcast.
Oh, okay. Any other announcements? Make sure that you give that to Steve also. Okay, because Blanche and Steve. I mean, Ken.
Look, Ken.
You look like Keelan.
Okay, thank you. The last call for the trip that I'm doing to Pigeon Forge is right here, and I have the price is $395 for 3 days, 2 nights. So if anybody want to go, let me know. Also here for Charlene Henderson, who's also running for council at large. So I have her flyers here. And finally, my new book that's coming out. I wrote the first book with Black women, and they were Queens Forever, Greatness Under the Rock has been removed. And the new book is going to be The Rock Has Been Removed, and the queens have been revealed. So that's the new book that's coming out.
I like that. It's cute. Okay.
No, this is just a cover. This is my cover. Not the book, this is my cover.
We understand, we understand.
I don't take my credit if you don't listen more. Just wanted to announce that the funeral service for Reverend Paul Drummond will be this Saturday. Visitations from 8 to 9:30 at St. Paul Baptist Church, followed by the funeral at 10. And as many of you who are native Charlotteans will know, I'd be there at 7:30 to get a seat.
To live right behind me.
Yeah. He's a
I
mess.
didn't know he passed. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, be here. We have the new CMS superintendent, Dr. Crystal L. Hill, will be here next Tuesday. I'm sure, hopefully we will have a full house, online and in person. This is very critical for our students in CMS. And on the 25th, hold on, okay, sorry. Next week, the superintendent will be here. Have your questions ready. Thank you. Any more? Okay. Okay. You can ask her. Okay. Thank you, and please come back next week. Thank you.